Hey guys, it's Addie, and today's video I'm doing like a Netflix suggestions video, which they're not all from Netflix. Some of them like HBO. I don't think there's any Amazon Prime, but I have one that I didn't write down that I have to add. That's from Prime, and some from Hulu. And I have movies and TV shows. I think every single movie is from Netflix, and then the TV shows, they're not all from Netflix. These are some of my favorites. I don't know how everybody else is going to feel about them, but I tried to do like a little synopsis of the TV show or movie to give you an idea of what you're going to be watching. And all of these I recommend, and I did a rating out of 10. So they're all over 5, or I would not suggest them to you. But these are all definitely suggestions. I've watched them, and I think you should definitely watch them. Now, there's actually 2 things I got to add, 2 shows that I got to add in here. And I did not have like a summary written down about them, so I'm gonna do my best to explain, but my thoughts may not be as gathered as these. Start with movies, and this one is like a documentary kind of deal. Shameless plug for Taylor Swift. The Miss Americana documentary, and you may think it's the only people who love Taylor Swift. No, because my friend doesn't love Taylor Swift. She's Harry Styles. Like, she's team Harry, and she liked it, so you might like it too. It's really just a documentary about her and kind of like the fame that she's built and kind of like the inside of her life on the Reputation era side of things. Now, the next movie I have is A Walk to Remember. It's about this jaded high school senior boy who falls in love with a great girl, and they find a meaningful relationship the hard way, and the girl starts having hardships later on in the movie. And it's like beautifully heartbreaking. It is a Nicholas Sparks movie, but it's not as cheesy as some of the Nicholas Sparks movies. And I actually love Nicholas Sparks movies, but I know some people don't. But this is a great movie. I give it a 10 out of 10. And I forgot to say, the Miss Americana, 8 out of 10. Yes, definitely watch this. This is like one of my favorite movies of all time. If you're a crier, you're gonna cry. Next movie I have is The Notebook. The man retells his love story to his wife with either dementia or Alzheimer's. I can't remember which one it is. But he retells the love story to her to help her remember, and she eventually does. And it's the cutest thing ever, and the ending is the best thing ever. I definitely give it a 9 out of 10. It's such a great movie. It's a great movie. The next movie I have is Silver Linings Playbook. A girl and a guy both have their own problems. Their own problems and quirks, and they find each other and find an unexpected relationship, and they help each other through those problems and quirks. And it's like the most awkward movie, but it's such a great movie. It's like I give it a 9 out of 10. And what I mean by like awkward is they both are like quirky individuals, like, I don't know, have definitely their own problems, and they just, I don't know, they sink through dancing, and then it's wild, but I definitely suggest it to you. The next one I have, I actually didn't write this one down either, so I'm just thinking of more, is To All the Boys I Loved Before. I really liked the first one. You know, like this shy, reserved girl, not really involved a whole lot. She starts dating she wrote love letters to all these guys. And her sister sent them out because she wanted her sister to get a boyfriend. And so she finds herself, there's 2 guys she likes, and she ends up dating the jock. And so it's like this unexpected romance. And then there's 2 more. And they gradually get worse. But watch the first one. Definitely suggest the first one. Give the first one like a 7 out of 10. The next movie I have is a very great movie, and you should definitely watch it. It's called Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I give it a solid 9 out of 10. A mentally struggling freshman finds an unexpected friendship with these seniors who are definitely outcast, and they call themselves Wallflowers. And he kind of falls in love with the girl, and through their friendship, they just help him with all the trauma he's had and his mental issues. And it's the cutest thing ever, and it's the sweetest thing ever, and I love it. And it's like a very serious, I don't know. It's like coming of age. I don't know. It's my type of movie. Next movie I have is called What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It's on I told you all the movies are on Netflix. I give it a 9 out of 10. The movie is about Gilbert Grape, who is a small town boy who has loads of responsibilities, including his overweight mother, like not just like 50 pounds overweight, like very overweight. That's why he has to take care of her a lot. She can't really move around. And his mentally impaired little brother, Arnie, who's always finding himself in trouble or climbing up a water tower. You never know what to expect with him. And he basically has all these responsibilities, and he has to be like the figure in the house, and he gets himself a job at a grocery store, and then he starts having an affair with this woman, but then his whole life is shaken up by this free-spirited girl, and they start dating. And it's a great movie. And can I mention, Johnny Depp as Gilbert Grape did a great job, and it did really good in that movie. And Leonardo DiCaprio did really good too. Like, I can only imagine how hard it is to fully play somebody who's like mentally impaired, you know what I mean, when you're not. So he really took the role over well, and it's a really good movie. It has good meaning behind it. Next movie I have to suggest to you is The Fundamentals of Caring, and I just watched it, and maybe that's why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. But I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. It was so good. Actor Paul Rudd is the main character, and he was a writer, but then he retired after some personal trauma, and he finds himself being a caregiver of this 18-year-old boy with disabilities, and they take an impromptu road trip where they learn lessons about hope and friendship through unexpected ways, and they meet people along the way, and it's so crazy. They just bond. It's the sweetest thing ever, and the ending, you definitely want to cry. And you don't want to cry because it's sad. Like, you just want to cry because it's like so sweet. It's not really sad at the end. Now moving on to TV shows. The first one we have is Gossip Girl, and I give it an 8 out of 10, and it's on HBO Max. It used to be on Netflix, but then they took it off. It's on HBO Max now. These privileged teenagers in the Upper East Side of Manhattan are trying to live their fast-paced lives, and then they find themselves getting scandals about themselves leaked through this texting thread called Gossip Girl. And I don't know, it's a really cool show. You want to live in New York. You want to be an Upper East Sider. Like, you just want to move there. And they're cute friendships, and then there's relationships. And I definitely suggest it to you guys. The next TV show I have is my favorite TV show of all time. And I mean of all time. It's my favorite TV show of all time. It's Friday Night Lights. And I believe it's on Hulu. And I give it a 10 out of 10. I give it 11 out of 10. 12 out of 10. Love it. I've watched it like 6 times. I have a deep emotional attachment to it. And it's not a good thing, but it's a great thing. The show centers around small town Dillon, Texas, where football and state championships are prized above all else. And Coach Eric Taylor guides this football team on and off the field while dealing with problems of his own. And there's other characters, and you just like feel so attached to the characters. You feel like you want to go to high school in Dillon, Texas, literally. And the show does a good job of showing like other issues in life, like that you may see in a small town, like racism or being poor, like what money has influence over like high school sports and things like that, things you would see, and it addresses them. And I really like the show. It's so good. Some shows, you know, like they fall off after the first couple seasons. No, you do lose. Like, I don't know, I don't want to spoil nothing, but it may not be the exact same, but I feel like it's just as good season 5 as it is season 1. The next show I have for you guys is Vampire Diaries. It's on Netflix, and I give it a 6 out of 10. Now, I give it a 6 out of 10 because there were times when I just wanted to cut the show off. Like, it just made me so mad. But basically, teenager Elena Gilbert finds herself falling for this boy who has a secret of his own, and that's being a vampire. And then eventually she finds herself like roped into the whole vampire unnatural world and all those problems that come with it, and her friends get roped in and all this stuff. And I mean, it's a cool show, and I really like it, but it just would make me so mad sometimes. Team Stelena, not Delena, sorry. Stefan's the better brother, and society would be better if everyone would just accept that. Sorry, hate to break it to you, but that's how it is. Next show is on Netflix as well. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's called Heart of Dixie. Basically, a young, new, fresh out of residency, or it's either fresh out of medical school or fresh out of residency, hotshot surgeon. She wants to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. Well, she's looking for a job in New York City, but she's having trouble finding it. And all of a sudden, this man dies who was at her graduation. She didn't know why he was at her medical school graduation, but he tells her that he's going to leave his small town doctor office to her. And come to find out, that's her birth dad. The dad she thought she had all her life was not her real dad. She didn't know she was adopted or something. Or like his stepdad. I don't remember exactly because this is at the beginning. But basically, it's a small town in Alabama, and she ends up falling in love with the town and meets some really good people and finds love there. And it has the best ending of any TV show I've ever watched. I've never felt so fulfilled in my life. It's the best ending. Next show I have is actually not finished. They still are coming out with seasons, so you should definitely hop on train with it. I think a new season's coming out this year. I'm not sure. It's on Netflix. Anyways, I give it a 10 out of 10. It's called Stranger Things. I'm sure you've heard of it. Basically, it's the 80s in Hopkins, Indiana, and there's these 4 best friends, and one of them goes missing. And then they also meet this strange girl who has very different ways about her than they do, and her name is 11. And they're starting to wonder if there's any correlation, and they're looking for their friend. And there's all types of sci-fi mixed in, and I'm not a sci-fi fan typically. That's not the type of show or movie I'd go to watch, but I definitely love it. My favorite shows of all time. Definitely second behind Friday Night Lights. I just have such an emotional attachment to that show. Now, the next to last TV show I have for you guys is Yellowstone, and I give this a 10 out of 10, and they're still making seasons of it. I don't know where you can watch it other than Paramount TV Plus or whatever. Or I watched it on TV. I recorded it. It came on. So if you have Paramount Network, look for it. Sometimes they have Kevin Costner marathons, and it's on there. Basically, it's a family-owned ranch by the Duttons, John Dutton. And it's an empire. It's like a ranch empire in Montana. And everybody wants the land. Everybody wants to take him down. But he will do anything to fulfill his promise that he made to his father, that he's going to keep that ranch. And he will do anything to keep it. And I mean, anything. And then you'll meet Queen Beth. And if you don't like Beth and you've watched all 3 seasons, no. I don't know that you're okay. And then the last show I have to suggest to you guys, I actually don't have it written down, but I meant to, is Rick and Morty. It's on HBO Max. I mean, you have Tiny Rick, you have Pickle Rick, you have every form of Rick. Unfortunately, you have Jerry, but somebody has to be the person you can pick on in the show, That's what makes it good, I guess. But I really like that show. It's on HBO Max. It's animated. I'm not normally into animated, but I definitely like that show. And there's all these different universes, and they have their own, I don't know, it's crazy. I don't even know how you explain it, but it's his granddad, and he has a science lab in his garage, and then he takes his grandson on adventures. And it's Rick and Morty. 9 out of 10 for sure. And that's all I have for you guys today, and I thank you for watching this video. Also, I forgot to tell you, you probably see me wear the shirt if you watch all my videos in my February favorites video. But I filmed them on the same day, so I could just edit them and post them. And so I wouldn't have to, I had time to film, so why not just film them both at the same time?